Gran Turismo movie, guys. Are you getting ready for a Gran Turismo movie? Welcome to Mirror Domains Movie News, your place for entertainment headlines. On today, we got a Secret Invasion update. Has Amber Heard finally been removed from Aquaman 2? There's a Lord of the Rings animated movie, and Top Gun Maverick tops the domestic box office for 2022. Thus far. But we start off today's stories by talking about the new Gran Turismo movie directed by Neill Blomkamp. That's going to be coming out August 2023. Now, we also got a bit of a log line here. So Neill Blomkamp, we'll take a look at his resume. He's done movies like Chappie, Elysium, and District 9. So he's been kind of up and down for some people, so this may have some mixed receptions. I'll give you guys my thoughts here in just a few moments. Let's take a look at the log line for this Gran Turismo movie. The log line for the film describes it as a wish-fulfillment tale of a teenage Gran Turismo player who won a series of Nissan competitions before becoming an actual professional race car driver. So what does that mean? Does that mean that, so he played the video game Gran Turismo and then he eventually becomes a full-time racer? I kind of like that. That sounds very intriguing to me because Gran Turismo, the driving was a little bit, the handling of it was a little bit more, they tried to go for that more realistic feel from what I remember compared to what the Need for Speed was. They tried to make like the handling of it a lot more touchy, I think. But I think you can always adjust that in the game. Anyways, it was much more of a racing game, like with the tracks and the loops and laps and stuff like that. But Neill Blomkamp, Gran Turismo movie, guys, August 2023. What do you guys think about that? Let's go over and take a look at Neill Blomkamp's resume. Because he's, well, as I said, he's got some hits and misses. He started off so big with District 9, which I really loved. They are writing District 10 right now with him and Sharlto Copley, the guy who starred in District 9, is going to be in that, hopefully, District 10 coming up. Does it have it on his resume? No, it's not even listed there for directing. Maybe it's because it's just writing it. No, it's not even there. But he's done a lot of shorts, a lot of VFX shorts. I think he did a VFX short, Oats Studios. He did one episode for, and that's on Netflix right now, I think. But he's done a lot of video shorts because he's been kind of, yeah, Demonic last year was not a very good movie. Demonic right there about this kind of like pseudo Matrix kind of thing that you go into this world to help somebody with their mind. But then there's like a demon in there or something or not. It wasn't very well executed. I like some of the ideas, but I hope with Gran Turismo, they put a little bit of a cap on him with his hiring choices for actors. Yes, he's worked with Hugh Jackman and Sigourney Weaver, so those were good choices, but he's made questionable ones in the past. Chappie, of course, he brought in those two rappers. And then originally he wanted to have Eminem play the Matt Damon role in Elysium. So he's I don't know why he feels like he wants to turn musicians into actors, but hopefully they curb that for when they make this Gran Turismo movie that comes out next year, guys. There's no word yet of the cast, so no cast yet has been announced. But if it's going to be going into production, or if it's coming out August 11th, 2023, I would imagine production would have to start maybe this fall for sure. And it would take place on the world stage, perhaps. It sounds like it. Guy who plays video games, Gran Turismo, eventually becomes an actual professional race car driver. It's kind of like that feel-good thing for Gran Turismo. That's a little bit of a different angle than they did for the Need for Speed movie. I kind of dig it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and we will talk about it. Once again, as I said, you're watching Mirror Domains Movie News, your place for entertainment headlines, where we actually do talk about some of the big movie news headlines of the day, listed right there. If you're joining us in the live chat, I will talk with you in between the stories. If not, you'll find them in these topics linked in time codes for you in the description below. And there are all my social media handles. Okay. Top Gun 2 tops the domestic box office milestone. Box office milestone. Top Gun 2 cruises past Doctor Strange 2 to hit 400 million. Cruises. I see what you did there. I see what you did. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at the numbers. Top Gun cruises to 400 million, just passing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So it made 401.8 million tickets through Monday. And Doctor Strange 2 presently rests at 398.1. So it'll eventually Doctor Strange 2 will make 400 million. But you know what? Top Gun still has good word of mouth, and it has some more time at the box office. Let's pull this up on the box office mojo here. Top Gun Maverick. So yeah, domestically there, 401.8 million. And it's, as I said, it's got the good word of mouth. It's just came out, 2 weeks ago, guys? So it's still going to have a little bit of a run here with Jurassic World Dominion kind of going bleh, meh. And then, with Lightyear coming out, it'll be the only really go-to movie on the list if for the more adult fare. And as I said, it's got good word of mouth. I would suspect that maybe Top Gun Maverick could top out at 500 million domestically, because it's just got that good word of mouth, and it's got some wiggle room here to negotiate with the older audiences. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is at the end of its run, and it's just going to creep over the $400 million mark, I think, because June 22nd, which is just 7 days, I believe, it's going to be out on streaming, right? So, yeah, it'll just creep over the $400 million mark for the domestic box office. But Top Gun, I think, will be the top one for this year for sure, as of right now, for the mid-year. Because, hey guys, we're only 15 days away from the end of the first 6 months of 2022. Wow, we're already at the Ides of June. Well, we thought that maybe Jurassic World would Dominion would top Gun, but look at the domestic numbers, 157. Yeah, I don't think it will. I think it'll probably cap out maybe around 350 domestically. Jurassic World Dominion, because most of its numbers are going to come from the international markets. I do believe that the word of mouth of it being too long will drive down some of the numbers for Jurassic World Dominion. I know that a lot of kids will go out and want to go out and see it, but then once Lightyear comes out, that's going to blow it out of the water, I think, for kids at least. And overall, though, guys, I'd have to say that's great news for Top Gun Maverick. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Is it well deserved? Our Glass Viking says in the live chat, many long winters playing Gran Turismo. Never thought they'd consider transferring it to the big screen. Wonder if it will be an intricate Days of Thunder storyline vibe or something more lighthearted. Well, if it's about the kid that plays the game and then goes on to play, become an actual race car driver, maybe. Days of Thunder was a little bit more of like the hothead and the trying to prove himself on the not Formula One, NASCAR track. It was Days of Thunder was NASCAR, right? Wasn't it? I don't know. We'll have to see how that works. And we'll have to see what type of racing. Wasn't there different types of racing in Gran Turismo? It wasn't like NASCAR. It was other types of racing as well. We'll have to see how that plays out. I'll keep my eye out on it for sure. Now that we got the director on board, Neill Blomkamp, I'll keep my eye out for it for sure. Lord of the Rings animated movie. Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. Add some voice cast. So we got some big voices coming to the cast. Brian Cox, Gaia Wise, Miranda Otto, and more. Now, I'm kind of shocked about these announcements, and I'll tell you why in a few moments. But Brian Cox is going to be playing the voice of the King of Rohan. So that guy who played him in Lord of the Rings. No, he's going to be playing the King of Rohan at the time of this movie coming out, because this comes out 183 years before the events of Lord of the Rings. But Miranda Otto, who was in Lord of the Rings, is going to be the narrator of this she'll serve as the narrator. She's going to be back as Eowyn. So that's cool. So it's going to be bookended with her narrations. And that'll help tie us back into some of the feeling, hopefully, of Lord of the Rings. Now, they've released a bunch of these concept art photos that I'm not going to go through them now because, guys, the film doesn't come out until April 2024. So we're still 2 years away from this coming out, which I'm really kind of surprised that they're announcing the voice cast now. Usually it'll come back up again perhaps near the end of 2023. And if I'm still doing the movie news show by then, hopefully I still am. And hopefully, we'll have to see where we're at by then. Still 2 years away from this, but it's got a big voice cast. Lorraine Ashbourne, Yazdan Quafi, Benjamin Wainwright. Some big names there, perhaps that some people recognize. Some of them don't jump out of the page for me, so I'm not going to bog you down by reading down this list. The War of the Rohirrim, Lord of the Rings. Cool, man. Still 2 years away, but Brian Cox, Miranda Otto, good choices. Vin Diesel Ark movie. What's this? Vin Diesel teases Ark Survival Evolved movie adaptation. I don't know this game, Ark Survival Evolved. It doesn't really roll off the tongue, if you know what I mean. But apparently he cites it as the best game out right now. Well, that's a boast. That's a boast. Not that Vin Diesel would boast about anything, would he? Would he? Okay, so he's taken to his social media to talk about this game, Ark. So let's take a look at what he said here on his Instagram. Happy Creative Sunday. The best game out right now is Ark Survival Evolved. My son introduced me to the game many years back. Then the wild card and all the genius over there asked me to shepherd the IP into the TV and film space, an honor I can't begin to describe. A real gamer is excited for Ark 2. Any real gamer is excited for Ark 2. Hey, you know what? We don't play all the games. I take offense to that, man. Okay, so I am excited for all you to see the franchise unfold on the big screen. Stay tuned. All love, always. Well, I'll tell you this. There is going to be an animated series from this. I'm guessing that this is what he's trying to use to leverage the studio to see if there's enough audience to warrant making a live action Ark Survival Evolved movie. But let's take a look at what this animated series is, because there's going to be Ark 2. There's going to be that sequel that he said. So this animated series in which he'll star alongside the likes of Gerard Butler, David Tennant, Michelle Yeoh, can't get bigger than that name right now, Jeffrey Wright, Carl Urban, and Russell Crowe. So that's an impressive voice cast. The series is expected to premiere later this year and lead into Ark 2's story. Ark, the animated series. Fans of the franchise should look forward to the Fast and Furious star ushering the game franchise onto the big screen in action-packed fashion. Well, you know what? It sounds exciting. It sounds very exciting. But Vin Diesel and his other properties have not really found box office success with Bloodshot and The Last Witch Hunter. Ooh, both properties that he was very excited for, just like this Ark Survival Evolved. But we'll have to see how this plays out, and if anything more materializes beyond that animated series and the game, I'll let you guys know for sure, because we do talk about movie news here. So let's continue on and talk about Chris Hemsworth, who has a couple of quotes about a couple of properties that might pique our interest. Chris Hemsworth wouldn't have returned for Thor 4 if not for this reason. Now, we knew, and I heard quotes around the end of Thor Ragnarok that he said that he was done. Yeah, Thor Endgame and him in Endgame too was kind of like, yeah, Endgame. He felt like it was time to hang up his hammer, but apparently he was. He's now on board for it, and it sounds like he's more on board for more than just Thor 4. So let's read this quote from Chris Hemsworth about the subject. I just love playing the character. I love the journey, and I've been on with him not only as Thor, but just my life. The two have been side by side for 10, 11 years now, and both have crossed over into each other's world from time to time. So yeah, and that's sort of happened with Patrick Stewart and Picard a little bit too. Being able to work with Taika again, I don't know that I would have done another if Taika hadn't said yes. He was going to do it, and he had written this beautiful script, which was a wacky, crazy, romantic comedy set in space that I hadn't seen before. So he's saying that Love and Thunder is like a romantic comedy set in space. But it's because of Taika Waititi, guys. The main reason why Chris Hemsworth is back for Thor is because of Taika Waititi. If he hadn't done it, then he probably would have said no. So that's good news for us. And we saw articles earlier on this channel where Natalie Portman said that that's the reason why she signed back on, because Taika Waititi is very meticulous and actually cool in the way that he actually goes to people's houses and he talks to them and warms them up to the vision that he has in his head to bring these people back for, Thor 4. So that's good news. That's good news. And that's just a little interesting thing that doesn't really change much because it's all in the can now and it comes out in a couple weeks, guys. Thor, Love and Thunder. So we'll be doing a straight out of the theater reaction for that for sure, as well as spoiler and full movie reviews. This is the next big one that we've got Elvis coming out in 2 weeks, and then it'll be Thor will be the next big one, I think, that I'll be excited for. July 8th. But Chris Hemsworth wasn't done there. He also said that he would return for Star Trek movie sequel with Chris Pine. What? Well, we know that J.J. Abrams and the studio there have announced that, yes, they're filming a new Star Trek movie this fall, slated to be out next Christmas, which was a big surprise to the cast. So the cast was scrambling to say, well, okay, yeah, I guess we'll come back and do it. And now Hemsworth has weighed in here, so let's read his quote. There was talk about me doing the film with Chris Pine at one point. The script was sort of put together and then it fell apart, mostly due to money issues, because Chris Pine asked for more money to come back. And actually, I heard that Hemsworth also said, well, it'll cost a little bit more for me to come and do that too, because he was only a cameo in the first Star Trek movie. If J.J. Abrams called me tomorrow and said, Chris Pine and I want to do it, I'd probably say, yeah, let's go for it. Now, I'll be honest with you guys. I don't really, that story of the father, Kirk having like a fatherly crisis movie wasn't something that I wanted to see in a Star Trek movie. But if he was asked, then it sounds like Hemsworth would come back. But guys, I just still don't know if this Star Trek sequel will come into fruition. J.J. Abrams, on the face, a lot of the fans out there think that he's like this great genius. But recently, he kind of got a little bit high on the horse there because of the success of Force Awakens. And then it kind of crashed and burned a little bit from the rise of Skywalker. But his big production over at WB Demamonde got shut down by the big CEO there that was going to be too expensive to make that series. So he's sort of being put in check. And I know that he's the big head honcho of Bad Robot, but Bad Robot needs, partnerships with other studios and other distribution companies to help make these movies come into fruition. And I think that J.J. Abrams perhaps has come down a little bit. Because Hemsworth says if J.J. Abrams came back to direct it, it still remains to be seen if J.J. Abrams is going to direct the fourth Star Trek movie in this iteration. So that's still up in the air. What do you guys think about those Hemsworth quotes? I felt like the Thor one was a little bit more interesting, and I'll keep my eye out for the Star Trek 4 news as it comes out. Brahmastra trailer. Brahmastra. Okay, so what is this Brahmastra? Now, this was something that was big enough to grace the pages of our North American trades. This is over on Deadline, guys. So, Brahmastra trailer. Ranbir Kapoor and Alia Bhatt enter the Astraverse in Bollywood epic. Okay, so just a quick little info session here, guys. Bollywood refers to, well, some people use that as like a blanket term for every movie that comes out of India, but that's not the case. Bollywood refers to Hindi movies. Okay, so there's multiple languages, lots of languages actually in India, and there's more than just one wood. So there's Bollywood. Tollywood refers to Telugu. Mollywood is Malayalam movies. I think Kollywood is Tamil, right? Is that what it is? Well, there's also other ones out there, guys. There's lots more woods, and I'm sure I'm fuddling them up a little bit there. But Bollywood is a Hindi movie, and that's confirmed by me looking at the Wikipedia site. But Brahmastra Part 1 Shiva, pronounced, well, I can't pronounce it properly, but it translates to the Weapon of Brahma Part 1. So, because it was so big, I thought I should go out and check out this teaser, but I'm not going to watch it here, because if I do a reaction to it, it'll be up on the Mirror Domains India channel. But I totally recommend that you go check it out, because it's got stunning visuals in it. The color palette, it's got like, it's got that feeling that they're shooting for something on the scope of an MCU movie. And I'm not going to watch the trailer here, as I said, but because it is in Hindi. The trailer is in Hindi, obviously. It's not going to be in English, so it's all subtitles. But the visual effects look actually fairly decent. And if you don't know Bollywood movies, they do take time to have like music in it, and if you watch them, it's kind of like going on like an amusement ride, because they try to take you through ups and downs of emotions. And this one caught my eye, and I totally recommend that you go check out this trailer, because it comes out September 9th in the cinemas, and it looks like this guy is like he's got the power of fire, but it also looks like at some point he's somewhat drawing that energy from evil spirits. But then there's more people like him that have a group of warriors who protect them, that also have magical powers. And as I said, the visual effects and the visuals, overall visuals, are stunning. So it looks like it's fairly grand in scope. It's got some familiar faces that people will recognize in it if you're from that market. But yeah, Brahmastra. Is that Alia Bhatt here there? She's awesome. I think if this is playing anywhere near me, for sure, and I hope it is. There's a couple theaters that do play some movies, but they mostly play Punjabi movies here for some reason. I guess because mostly there's a big Punjabi group of people that live here in this area. They do play some Hindi movies. They barely play any Telugu movies. I'd have to go to Toronto to see those ones. But Brahmastra, guys. Oddly enough, that trailer, it won me over. Part 1, Shiva. So it looks like this is going to be part of a series. And it looks like, as I said, it's like they're trying to branch into like this more grandiose storytelling of magic and stuff like that, perhaps with a little bit of a shade towards, not shade, but like shades of like an MCU Eternals type movie. So we'll have to see how that works out. I just wanted to bring that to your attention, guys, because I'm knowledgeable about movies. So, and even foreign movies too. So there you go. That's my little shout out to that. And as I said, if I get the chance to see Brahmastra, I'll be checking that out for sure, because it looks cool. in my books. Keeping on with the superhero stuff, talking about Eternals and such, let's talk about the MCU and let's talk about Secret Invasion. Samuel L. Jackson gives update on Secret Invasion and the Marvels filming. So the Secret Invasion involves the Skrulls. You know what those guys are, right? Those guys with the green, these guys, the green that can morph into looking like anybody that they choose to, right? And it's going to be a series on Disney Plus. But the Marvels is Captain Marvel 2. That's going to be in theaters. So let's take a look at this stuff. His quote, I guess he was on Jimmy Kimmel Live when he came up with this quote. And he says, no, I'm not done. I'm on my way back to London at some point in August. But I got to go back to do some stuff for the Marvels. And then I got to do stuff for Secret Invasion. So that puts the timeline for both of those. People were hoping that Secret Invasion would come out hopefully later this year, but if he's shooting reshoots in August, that would be tight pressed to have it come out this year. And from what I understand in this article, the Skrull teams, they suggested that the show will not land until early 2023, and that makes sense. And of course, we know that Ant-Man 4 Quantumania and the Marvels had swapped release dates. So Marvel's is definitely coming out next year, but Miss Marvel leads into the Marvels. That's how we know that the Marvels and Captain Marvel will be together. That's why it's called the Marvels. So yeah, that's about right. The Marvels comes out July 2023. And then I would suspect Secret Invasion will happen before that. But if any of these bleed into each other, which I suspect that they do, they'll have to definitely have that come out before the Marvels, I would imagine, because the Skrulls were very much tied to Captain Marvel. So I'm guessing that'll come out early in early 2023. And, I was just thinking the other day, too, that if they're dealing with the Skrulls and that Secret Invasion is that they can mimic what other people look like. So perhaps that could open the door for some of the people that died in Endgame to come back, maybe, because they could just say that it was one of these Skrulls that just happened to look like somebody that we may know. That's the only way that I could see that somebody would come back. But that's the Secret Invasion update, guys. That just gives us a little bit more of an idea as to where we are in the timeline for that. Amber Heard has she been removed from Aquaman 2 yet? I know some people out there want that to happen. Amber Heard hasn't, though, been cut from Aquaman 2, despite the rumors. And yeah, now I know that there are sites out there and channels that have been milking the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trials for pretty much everything that is worth. There's a guy that posted like 4 videos this morning about Amber Heard. It's kind of like, yes, there's clickbait articles that you can go out there and try to drive traffic to your channel. And I know that once you started it, you can't just cut it off like that but man, there's this one channel out there that I follow that he's like 4 videos about him already this morning, guy. Come on. And he does so much good stuff with like Hellraiser and monster movies and stuff like that. But he's just got sucked into these rumors that are just kind of like, I prefer not to talk about it. I will if it affects the movies. But people have been running with this headline and these rumors that she's been cut. But we reported last week that she's in it for about 25 minutes, guys. So this is a quote from Variety debunking this. The rumor mill continues as it has from day one. Inaccurate, insensitive, and slightly insane. Yeah. Now we know that, of course, Johnny won the second round because he lost the first round. There was a defamation case that took place in the UK, and then he lost that one, and then he came over here and he won the second one, and now there's going to be the appeal, and then there'll be her countersuit after that. So it's going to be going on for a long time. And guys, as much as I agree with the petitions out there that have grossed over like, what is it, well over 2 million signatures or something like that. I Stuff like that rarely works. And I know that Jason Momoa and James Wan went to bat for her to be in the movie, even when the executives said, we don't want her in this movie. Wan and Momoa went to bat for her to be in it. So, as much as I don't... No, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I got nothing against the boycott Aquaman 2 because I'm still going to go watch it. I have to watch it because I follow movies and I will report on movies. So that if you guys don't want to go see it, which comes out March 17th, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, March 17th, 2023. If you agree that you don't like her, you don't want to see her on screen, let the studios know by not going to see it. That's the way that I would settle that matter. Because no matter whatever you hear, unless something drastic happens, like she kidnaps somebody and runs away from the authorities, I don't think they're going to remove her from the picture. And even then, they may not do that. That's just a little nod to Ezra Miller in The Flash. But what do you guys think about the Amber Heard headlines? I thought we'd just quickly address it here on this news day. Obi-Wan episode 5 is coming out today, guys, and we're going to do a full live watch along later on today at 1:30 p.m. So just an hour away, and we're going to be watching episode 5. Full live watch along on this channel, Mirror Domains. But we saw this headline the other day too, that Obi-Wan Kenobi is heading to the theaters for a 5-hour marathon event. Ooh, I don't know if my legs and back can handle that. But let's take a look at this. So, and select Cineplex locations. So that'll be in Canada then, guys. On June 22nd, the 5.5-hour presentation of the show will be the first. Well, guys, it's going to be the only season. I see what you're trying to do there coming soon. It's a limited series, so it'll have the entire season plus alongside a live Q&A. And I know that some people try to use the 5.5 hours to try to figure out how long the last 2 episodes are going to be. But if they're going to have a live Q&A tacked onto that, man, do you really want to watch the first whole season in the theater and then sit down for another 40 minutes or maybe another, 40 minutes, half an hour to 40 minutes of a live Q&A? Whew, that'll be a long day. That'll be a long day sitting in the theater. They better have bathroom breaks. I'm guessing there'll be a bit of a break in between maybe in between every 2 episodes, perhaps. I don't know how. No, maybe just one intermission. And would I go see that? So Cineplex, it's unclear if fans outside of Cineplex home country of Canada will be able to participate. So it's in Canada only. I'll have to keep my eye out for this. In fact, why don't I just go to the Cineplex site and pull up June 22nd and see if it's going to be listed anywhere. Wednesday. So we're taking a look for this. I'm not... It's not going to be playing anywhere near me. So let's go to... let's check out some of the stuff around Toronto, because I think that's where it will most likely be. Bad Guys, no. Courtney Park, that's a big one. It might be there. This Obi-Wan in the theaters for 5 hours, guys. 5 hours. And I know this theater over in... see, they got some Hindi, but they got some Punjabi there too. Hindi. So it's not playing at Courtney Park. The only other place that I could think that it may be playing at would be Etobicoke. Queensway, there we go. Maybe there, because that's a big theater. And this is for... Wednesday. Let's see if they got Obi-Wan playing here. It could be even more limited than that, but I'm not going to bore you guys by looking for it on their page. I just thought it would be fun if we actually found it, but I'm not going to drag that out anymore. So 5-hour event, guys. Obi-Wan. It's not going to be playing. anywhere near me as of now. But if it does, perhaps I will toy with the idea next Wednesday. I'm not going to go through any of the Easter eggs here right now for episode 5. We'll do that after we do our full live watch along for Obi-Wan, guys. Episode 5, which I have the highest hopes for. I hope things wrap up nicely. If I like episode 5 and I like episode 6, I'll go see it in the theater perhaps, because some of the visual effects don't translate that well, I don't think, to the big screen. Some of the acting definitely doesn't translate to the big screen. Yeah, because I know that some people don't like this series. And I'll agree with them that the acting hasn't been the best from Reva. I can see that, but I'm still excited to see this series, and I'm really hoping that we get at least a flashback of young Anakin, and I want to see hear Qui-Gon Jinn. But that'll be starting in just 54 minutes, guys. Obi-Wan episode 5. So let's continue on with today's movie news stories by looking at YouTube Shorts. YouTube Shorts has more than 1.5 billion monthly views. 1.5 billion. Wow. I guess the smart YouTube channels out there should be getting into YouTube Shorts. So oddly enough, that's why you've seen this channel here, Mirror Domains, start to do some YouTube Shorts. My plan is to do at least, 5 or 6, 7 a week. They may not be every day. I'll try to do at least one a day if I can. But yeah, 1.5 billion views. And what it does, guys, it helps drive traffic towards the channel. So if they see my short out there talking about some of the pictures and stuff like that of perhaps Stranger Things, Stranger Things or Squid Games, shorts, because I put my logo on there and they'll say, oh, that was very interesting, that guy, I'll check that out. Or, it just helps put my net out there to grab people's attentions, to drive them towards the channels, because I want to be able to talk with people in the live chat and drive that community forward, the movie news, the movie fan crew, fandom for here. So I'll be doing those shorts that I also post on other social medias like Twitter or TikTok. So there you go. I just thought that was important to talk about, because you'll see on the channel here that a lot more shorts are going up. And I think I prefer doing shorts rather than cutting out these small stories and then posting it on the side. That's the way that I think I prefer to do it. Okay, one story here that came up last minute was Puss in Boots, the Last Wish trailer. Now, I watched this trailer, and then it started off like sort of like a traditional style animation, I felt, with a very aged voiced Antonio Banderas still doing Puss in Boots, but it looks like what happens in it is that he dies a couple times, and he's down to his last life. So that's what it means by the last wish. Okay, and then he goes in hiding in a home for cats, and he he grows a beard, and it looks like it's a lot of fun. And then some bears and some people come looking for him, and it does have some moments in there that actually made me laugh, like the bear's talking to the old lady, and then she smacks him because it's a bear. But look at the animation styles. When I saw this trailer, I kind of felt like I got shades of that kind of animation style that they used in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Just the way that
whenever I came up with you.
But it looks like it's actually pretty charming, actually. I got to admit. And then they have, I don't know if this is going to be like the big throwdown at the end, but it did have some moments in there that made me laugh. Now, I never saw any of the Puss in Boots movies, so that's why I'm not going to doing a reaction for it. But Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, guys, I felt like let's see what the reception is. Comments are turned off because it's a kids movie, I suppose. But let's take a look at the IMDb. to look at the voice cast, Puss in Boots discovers that his passion for adventure has taken its toll. He has burned through 8 of his 9 lives. Puss sets out on an epic adventure to find the mythical last wish and restore his 9 lives. And this one actually, the trailer did kind of win me over. So it has Antonio Banderas, Salma Hayek, Harvey Guillén, John Mulaney, Way Winstone as Papa Bear. Okay, so that, yeah, I recognize his voice as Papa Bear. Florence Pugh is Goldilocks. Can't go wrong with Florence Pugh right now. She's going to be a hot commodity coming up with Dune Part 2. Yeah. Any other names jump out at me here? Samson Kayo, Olivia Colman. Yeah. Cool trailer though, guys. It did actually charm me, and that's a shock for me because I usually don't react that well to kids movies, especially a lot of kids movies, because they're not made for older people, and people, it's just kind of weird. Unless I take my niece, I don't go and watch them in the theater, mostly because I don't want to be an older man sitting in a theater with a bunch of young kids. It just looks bad. Puss in Boots is crazy, funny. Love Antonio's take on the character. Our Glass says in the live chat. But yeah, so I did find some charm in this, guys. And Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is slated for December 21st, 2022. So this Christmas. So that's going to put it up against Avatar 2 and Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods. But it's a kids movie, so there's a different audience there. So this Christmas, guys, December 21st. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comments below. And just want to make a quick little correction here from one of yesterday's stories before we go in and take a look at the Twitterverse. We looked at the Stranger Things Season 4 Volume 2 photos, and I guess I missed one that was brought to my attention. We saw these ones of 11, Millie Bobby Brown. We saw this one, and a lot of these pictures were dark, so I had to go back into my little video there and brighten them. We see that there's Nancy there. I'm guessing this is when they first get out, and they're trying to devise a plan to deal with Vecna. And see what I mean by how dark it is? I brightened this up quite a bit just so we could see Max and Lucas. I call her Sadie Sink because I have trouble remembering these characters' names. Like, even when I do the reactions, I had to remember that, oh yeah, that's Robin. Robin, Steve, and Eddie. Well, Steve's been there for a while, but I had to remember that Maya Hawke was playing Robin. And they're in some kind of, I think it's a motorhome, because you can see the curtain there that draws the difference between the driving section and the sleeping section. We saw the Russia crew. There is 11 and Dr. Brenner again. We saw these yesterday. This was one that we missed. But it's just them standing in. I'm guessing that table that they were leaning over is just behind them there. We saw that Max is there too. And then the final one was them in a van. But I never felt like that one was worth looking. You don't really see that much. This is my least favorite story out of them so far. Yeah, because I'm more concerned with what's going on with 11, and I'm more concerned with what's going on with this crew, because they've actually seen Vecna and have gone up against him. So the crew in the van, I don't see how they're going to play into it. They're just going to help bring the two together, maybe. The 3 big storylines that'll face off. They'll defeat Vecna in the final 2 episodes. That comes out July 1st, guys. So I just wanted to clarify that once before we round out the show. So let's... it's going to be a little bit of a shorter show today because, as I said, we are going to do Obi-Wan in 45 minutes. So let's take a look at the old Twitterverse and see if we've missed anything. First look at Ryan Gosling as Ken in Greta Gerwig's Barbie. He does look like he's Ken. That's kind of interesting. I don't know if I'll lead off the show with that tomorrow, but there he is, Ken. There's the pink. And from what we've known, there's going to be multiple Kens and multiple Barbies, because it sounds like they're going to go through different iterations of the toys and stuff like that. Yeah, so that was our first official pick of Barbie. Margot Robbie as Barbie. And now we got our Ken. Kind of Barney Rubble-ish, though, kind of haircut, isn't it? Barney Rubble from the Flintstones? Interesting. First trailer for Puss in Boots, we saw that. Trailer for Matilda the Musical, that's going to be out on Netflix. Okay. My Policeman, period drama with Harry Styles. My Policeman. Taika Waititi on Star Wars. I don't think that I'm any use making a film where everyone's like, oh, that's the blueprints of the Millennium Falcon. Ah, that's Chewbacca's grandmother. I would like to take something new and create some new characters. Okay, well, I think some people will agree with you on that. But I'll tell you this. If you make a movie about people who live on Mos Espa and they're like traders, junk traders or something like that, nobody's going to want to see that. You guys, if you're going to make a Star Wars movie, you got to make it about Force users of some kind. I don't care if it's tied to the Old Republic or the new saga series that we are aware of. It doesn't have to be tied to the Skywalkers, but you got to use Force users. You got to have lightsabers. And if it's not that, then you got to have the underworld of some kind, right? With Jabba or Black Sun or whatever it is. Something with that deals with familiar things that we know, or the rebellion. But it looks like Andor is going to cover that. So do something new. But you got to have one of those things in there. If you're not going to make it about the Force, you're not going to make it about the underground, you're not going to make it about the rebellion or anything that like that, why bother calling it a Star Wars movie at all then? That's the way I feel about it. But I trust Taika Waititi because of the way that he's handled the Thor properties. And I know people like Jojo Rabbit, but that one didn't land for me, guys. Elvis interviews Blackpink's Rose. Brian Cox will voice the King of Rohan in the animated movie Lord of the Rings, and we know that April 12th, 2024, still 2 years away from that. What's this? Beautiful Imperfection. I don't know what that is. Murder Mystery, Saoirse Ronan. See how they run. We saw those pictures yesterday. Stranger Things, Netflix, English language TV show of all time. Wow. Biggest debuts for scripted Netflix series. First Kill. I seen that was trending on Netflix too. It's a coming of age story of teenage vampires. That one really didn't really grab my appeals. It didn't really appeal to me. Arglass says, I'll be catching Obi-Wan later. James Friends got me a ticket for Jurassic World, so no more avoiding it. Biting the bullet and getting it over with. Yeah, well, I hope there's value in Jurassic World. It's not the worst movie ever. I'll tell you that. It's not the worst movie. It's not going to be on the worst movies of the year. So enjoy. Patrick Schwarzenegger filmed more explicit scenes for The Staircase that represented more investigations into his character's sexuality, but they didn't make the final cut. Don't know what that is about anyway. So Millie Bobby Brown says she would be so down to play Halsey in a biopic. Well, that's Millie Bobby Brown, right? That's Halsey. I don't have I even heard of a song from Halsey? Not my cup of tea, but another poster for the My Policeman, Harry Styles. Okay, guys, we get it. My Policeman's coming out. Jeez. What's this? Emma Roberts wants a new season of Scream Queens. Does she? Yeah. Happy birthday to Lucy Hale. Happy birthday. Squid Games reality competition series. Based on Squid Games, reality games. Lincoln Lawyer renewed for a second season. That's good, Nev Campbell. I think we saw that yesterday, guys. So this is getting into stuff from yesterday. That's pretty much the way that's been. Let's round it out there for today, guys. It's a 24-hour news cycle, and if I miss something, it'll be up on the channel tomorrow. We'll talk about it, and if it's a huge trailer, of course, we'll get it up for you guys right away. As I told you, in 40 minutes, we're going to be watching Obi-Wan Episode 5, guys. I'll see you guys there. Yeah, you're watching Mirror Domains. Your place for entertainment headlines.